And it looks like we're off.
Absolutely, and we're starting off with 10 arrows, both of them going right to Link's house, and possibly going to go up and check Uncle first. It's a very common route. Already a map check. Hera is red pendant, and I missed what desert was. Just a normal crystal on Easter.
Yeah, desert is one of our 5-6 crystals.
So 3 different options right there off the bat. That's actually really good. They're going to get a tree pull. We're going to see what this is. Just hearts. So nothing too important on the first tier 1 tree pull. I'll be interested if either of them do Houlihan. That's a kind of a common open strategy to do Houlihan.
Well, it seems like lately there's more rupees in the item pool, and I haven't seen as much Houlihan outside of retro seeds this turn.
And Uncle giving us nothing in that front chest as well as on himself. Only some arrows. Immediate save and quit. Going to go to Sanctuary. Both of them mimicking each other right now. So going to be heading over probably through Lost Woods down into Kakariko. And we'll be able to see what they've got there. Not any rupees to be able to get the purchases or bombs right now. Still have a bush crab to check. There might be some good drops off of that.
There's also the possibility of forcing a tier 2 or a tier 3 tree pull. And with jmeasher killing that guard, it looks like he's going to go for that.
He did take a hit, though. Oh, no! Cfalcon accidentally killing the bush crab before he could drop a single item.
jmeasher found our tier 2 tree pull. Unfortunately, it is just single rupees.
Bush crab is hearts and 10 arrows behind Aga 1. So nothing important behind Aga 1, but because this is all dungeons, it will be required anyway. Probably going to be done closer to.
And there's our sword just hanging out over in the Lost Woods.
If there's a spot that I like getting it, it's probably there or close to where Uncle's at, because that lets you go in and do the Hyrule Castle and do the...
Yeah, having a sword to guide you through the Dark Cross room is pretty nice. And that's already our third 10 arrow bundle collect.
Yeah, nothing but arrow bundles. Now with V30, it's a relatively new thing that you actually buy your upgrades. So you're going to see a lot more bombs and a lot more arrow drops instead of having the upgrades. That's what they've been. And lucky bomb drops right there. We got 1 bomb from jmeasher, but Cfalcon got 2 from both of them. Where's Cfalcon going? Oh, going straight down to buy bombs. No. Oh. Interesting routing, Joy.
Yeah, it really is. He's got 2 bombs, so he can open up both the hole in the well and the hole in the in blindside.
Yeah, he would be able to do both of those in the back, get a lot of items, possibly even get a bomb drop amongst those. Not have to worry about coming back up. He didn't have any rupees to buy bombs from the south. Walked past a lot of checks. That was a very interesting choice. And going to do the bomb farm. Okay. Again, interesting choice. And there's bombs in the way.
Yeah, we see from jmeasher that bomb farm was not required yet.
And there's a hammer in the bomb wall right there in the well. So yeah, that's that's a weapon. It's not exactly, I would say, a convenient spot for it, but you're starting off with a hammer.
Yeah, you already have access to tempered sword damage, and doesn't open up much without gloves or Moon Pearl. You need something else to have that hammer be progression right now. But you'll take the powerful weapon.
Did jmeasher talk to the bottle?
Yeah, I believe he did, and it was just a heart container.
Okay, I missed whether or not he actually did that. I just saw him walk right past. So both of our runners are going to be max bombs coming out of Kakariko, but jmeasher is going to be able to walk just right south and walk out. Cfalcon's going to end up having to walk all the way back down. With that shovel, they're going to be able to actually check that probably right after doing the race game check. At least I would head over there since you're already right near them.
Yeah, this will probably be the most convenient time, other than if they have mirror and check old stump.
So far, boots not a hard requirement. The library there doesn't show us much. So let's see what's in the race game. Is it going to have any kind of progression? 20 rupees.
Yeah, not going to do a race game for 20 bucks.
Not at all. No. I think the most menial thing that I've ever done race game for was like maybe 100 rupees, just because of how few rupees there were and a possibility of having to.
Well,
that's a moon pearl underneath the shovel spot.
That's 2/3 of our Dark World access.
Okay then. I'm floored by that. I am kind of hoping we see a no glove and we are forced to do AGA 1 and like a glove being on the.
But we're closer to Dark World than we are AGA right now, because we need either a second sword or a cape, along with the lamp, for AGA 1 to be in logic, and we only need gloves for Dark World.
Yeah, but I do realize that it's just one of those things where it's like, it would just be so cool to have to go through AGA to get. So we do have some flippers right there in front of the dam. That is actually a very ironic place for flip.
It is, and that also is going to put Zora in logic along with all the South Shore checks, so it might be a little bit worried about rupees right now.
Yeah. I mean, with being able to check the hobo under the bridge, you know, they're probably thinking, oh man, and you know what they just lost to? With that fine, they just lost the ability to be able to do
Houlihan.
So the need for Houlihan right now is we are now one away from Dark World and one away from AGA.
Yeah, I know there's other ways to access Houlihan. One of the more popular alternatives is over at the drop into Hyrule Castle, bombing yourself in, but they don't have gloves for that.
Exactly. I
think
you can technically set up Houlihan without actually doing the dive. You don't actually have to do the dive into the water to set up Houlihan. If you keep yourself at a certain access point and you never go below it coming from Sanctuary, you can actually keep it and still get Houlihan. It's just a lot harder than the normal setup.
Hey, there is a magical boomerang for jmeasher. And that gives them access to check the stun prize. That might be worth it, considering there's the possibility that you have a 20 rupee stun prize.
That's extremely useful, especially for this Zora predicament we've got going on.
Of course, a stun prize could just as likely be hearts.
That's very true. You know, it could be any amount of things. It could be a fairy. It could be hearts. It could be a single rupee. It could be a full magic. So interestingly enough, the difference in checks right now that we have from jmeasher to Cfalcon. Cfalcon is just a little bit behind jmeasher in what they're checking, because really Cfalcon had to backtrack. They went to South Kakariko and went back up and then had to come back down. So that's about the amount of time that they're behind.
Did you see what I saw on that island?
I missed it. I was too busy running my mouth.
We got gloves on the island.
That is a big possibility of Aga being and there's gloves in
There's
the
the
thank
gloves.
you game for making me I'm just
Immediately shot down.
Sometimes this randomizer, it throws all sorts of number logic out the window.
Now, jmeasher was not able to check Zora, but he did check the ledge and just saw that piece of heart, so it might be a while until we see a Zora check.
I can imagine maybe with a cat, depending on where we end up getting pigeonholed to, maybe with a catfish check, if they have the rupees after that, which chances are there. Now, Cfalcon has 100 or so more rupees than jmeasher. I wonder where they got those rupees. Because they check bottle vendor as well. I know that.
I think jmeasher bought bombs.
Oh, you are correct. That is about the amount. That is about the difference. That is about the difference that they have, other than like a random 20 drop or something.
But we got a hype cave check and
Yeah. That's a snore. That's a snooze cave. I think that may have been that might have just taken the cake for the worst hype cave I've ever seen.
We'll give that one a -2. And we're about to get that pyramid check. You might route this into catfish as well. Alright. So, Thieves Town is our other 5/6 crystal. Swamp Palace is our green crystal, and our green pendant. And Turtle Rock is our blue pendant. There's a nice sword up there on the pyramid. Now we got a little bit of divergence here, as jmeasher is going to go ahead and check catfish, but Cfalcon going to go ahead and check old Stumpy and the digging game.
So really our first divergence. So we've got that perfect separation here. Magic. jmeasher going to catfish first. I don't know if it's just a hunch they have. This play is definitely unique in the fact that you're kind of going to be isolating Zora even.
Yeah, but there's also usually hints referring to the grumpy fish. So if he gets a hint that grumpy fish has something other than bombs, then he knows what Zora has.
That is a very good point. That is a very good point, that the grumpy fish can be Zora or Catfish. So that's something that could help in the future if they end up finding them. Which neither of them have gone to the Eastern Palace area. You know, we haven't checked Sahashalas or even walked into Eastern. So that's
we might see a trip over that way soon because we got a bow in the back of Escape.
And jmeasher choosing not to check the dark chest, just going ahead and saving and quitting, going and probably heading over to Dark World? Nope, never mind. Going to Eastern.
Yeah, not checking his dark chest, I do find it kind of an odd play considering they do have the lamp. So this is perfectly in logic.
Yeah, having the lamp and finding that key in the back, I would have gone to the dark chest. There's no reason not. It does take time, but it just as easily could be, you know, Fire Rod or Cane of Samaria, Mirror, something very...
Or it could be a blue rupee.
Or just a blue rupee.
So Shrella's Closet, though, blue boomerang and half magic.
You know, I'd qualify that as useful. The half magic's really nice when you find it early.
Sub 20 minutes, I call that early.
Exactly. Finding it before you have to do any major dungeons like Ice Palace, or, you know, possibly even Skullwoods, things like that. Turtle Rock.
Now, if only they had something besides a lamp to use that magic with.
That's a very astute observation. Unfortunately, the magical boomerang doesn't use magic.
But that's what makes it magical.
And I tell you what, if you gave Vitorp the option, he would take it out of the game.
Let's not give him any ideas then.
So far, Piece of Heart in Eastern Palace, not too much. That's one of the three.
And it's still surprising that other than Cfalcon heading over to the digging game and Stumpy, and jmeasher heading over to Pyramid and Catfish, they've been following in each other's footsteps.
Yeah, almost to the T, and really the biggest difference is one has powder, and one has a sword. I would take the sword in this instance.
I mean, right now, the powder will open up one more area. But yeah, it's hard to tell which is better right now because you don't really use the Master Sword for an advantage in here. This is a bow dungeon.
It's a bow dungeon, but at the same time, it's one of those things where if I haven't found a second sword, I continuously worry about where I'm going to find it. And powder, you can sequence break. You can't sequence break a sword. But we did find our first hint, the first official hint of this run. Did you know that a glove is in plain sight?
Why, yes. Yes, I did. And I know both of these runners know that as well.
And just like the nature of the game, let me tell you something you already know.
And we have our second item, bombs. The last item will be on Armos.
All in all, this might just end up being our first crystal, our first dungeon killed. And that's it, because it's not looking to be too big of a clear right now. We're still waiting to find out, but they've got a lot open to them. They can still go to Village of Outcasts. They can still go into the first couple checks in Skull Woods. They can actually go into, well, yeah, they can go into Swamp Palace, even though you wouldn't do that without the hook shot. They can clear left side. They can do a few checks in there. There's a lot open to them right now that otherwise just, it's a matter of where you're going to go first. Thieves Town's probably going to be the next check.
I actually think it's going to be Palace of Darkness.
You know, full clearing pod. Yeah, that's not a bad check at all. Thieves Town's a 5/6 crystal as well, so it's just a matter of preference. They can go south after doing Eastern Palace and go right to pod, get that done, spend 110 on Kiki. So
yeah, while you're over here.
Yeah, it's definitely a good route.
Well, there's 300 rupees, so no problems with Kiki there.
Yeah, that's gonna give them the Zora money and Kiki money. Probably the money for Dig Game too, and cover all their expenses.
Yeah, unless I need an excessive amount of potions, yeah, that's rupees for the game.
Cfalcon not really going for the quick kill. Just gonna go ahead and fire those arrows in normal fashion, getting his 300 rupees. jmeasher went for the quick kill setup, but missed a couple of arrows, which.
Yeah, it looked like the Armos got away from him, and I think Cfalcon might have had a faster kill.
And both runners doing your suggestion, which is not a bad one, going to pod. So we're going to get a full clear of pod and get these checks out of the way. There's a lot of items in pod too. There's more items in pod than there is in Thieves Town. Depending on what we find here, you know, next in line probably is going to be Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness is 5 items, and you're right here with the bow, the hammer, the lamp. You've got everything for it.
Yeah, and you know, I made my Swamp Palace comment. I'm completely wrong. They don't have me.
Yeah, mirror kind of helps for that.
Just a bit. Yeah, it's just a you know, hard requirement of the dungeon. You know, we're just going to completely ignore hard requirements and an open mode.
This isn't major glitches.
God, I know. And deciding to go ahead and go straight up the middle. Not going to go bow side right away. Not a bad choice, especially with not having...
Yeah, if this chest up here ends up being a small key, then you can check the vanilla big key chest, drop down, and then end up over on both sides anyway. So it makes it all one nice, neat little loop.
Threw that bomb just a little bit short.
Now, with their low amount of arrows, they might have to pick some... Oh, there's a mirror.
That is very useful. Nice.
I'm used to finding nothing but keys in the front here. What is that black sorcery?
I mean, I'm not going to be upset about finding the... I know it was a green hit. It said something about race. I didn't catch the
race romps don't have spoilers.
Oh, okay.
But with that mirror, that's going to give them access to those gloves that we saw over on the island.
It's not too far out of the way of Pod either. They can just walk right on down there. Finding mirror in Pod is never a complaint from me anyway, because you hate having to death warp. Death warping in Pod's just not fun. Because how many times have you been setting up the death warp, you go check the big chest, and it's your final heart piece, or it's sank heart.
I mean, at least in Pod, most of your things are doing a heart of damage. I've seen that over in Zelda Cell.
Yeah. And you have to take all that damage from either wasting all your bombs or that green guard.
But that mirror is going to open up a lot of options for both of them, so it will be interesting to see where they go after Pod.
So interestingly enough, jmeasher is kind of set up in a little bit of a better position here because they didn't do Stumpy. They're going to be able to do Cave 45 or South of Grove with Stumpy and Dig Game. So they're going to be able to route that in a little bit differently. They're not going to be isolating that.
But on the flip side of that, Cfalcon will be able to do Catfish and Zora together.
Exactly. So they both have slight advantages in the way that they've done certain things. Because I can imagine Cfalcon going, if the mirror is the only thing in here, Cfalcon's probably going to go over to Pyramid, check Catfish, go right that way, and then mirror to Zora. They've got them.
And that, of course, also depends on when they route in their, when they decide to route in their gloves, because they both know where it is.
That's going to actually be more in the line of jmeasher, because they can go that way, mirror, and do the glove there. So they can actually do that on the way over to do Stumpy in the Dig Game. So it's just a matter of really, it doesn't hurt either one. It's going to come down to what's found where. Because Cave 45, it's kind of in an awkward spot if you don't find your mitts. So you're kind of, all right, when am I going to be able to make it back over there? As well as with Zora, there's literally no reason to go over to Zora other than maybe the mushroom they just got. And even then, that's still a little bit further down the way.
Yeah.
So that mushroom actually helps Cfalcon as well, because they can go do mushroom with Zora as well. So they can actually mirror over there on the way over to Catfish, check mushroom, do Catfish, do Zora. So it's really helping them. The mushroom probably helps jmeasher too to head back that way if Zora has something, but mushroom and Zora is still hard to couple together.
Yeah, that's two out there checks.
And most people with mushroom will wait until they either find their Cane of Samaria and do the fake powder if they haven't found powder yet, or will wait until they find flute to just do the drop-off roll.
Yeah, which in Cfalcon's case, he found the powder.
Exactly, so he doesn't have to worry about that. So turning in the mushroom is even more...
Now, here's where this Master Sword is going to come into play. Although jmeasher is not... Oh, actually is not going to use the Master Sword for the... Yeah, that makes sense, actually. It's 8 shots with the bow.
The reason why it helped jmeasher a little bit more than Cfalcon is less menu. He was able to just do the sword beam into the switch and go from there. So 10 arrows, replenishing the ones he shot at Helmasaur. But really, Pod is just another crystal and a mirror. Mirror is useful, gets the mitts, so we have that. That's great. So I can imagine jmeasher is going to be heading towards those mitts right now. Now, jmeasher did not hold out their sword to do... nope, gotta use your bow. There you go. jmeasher did not hold out the sword to do the hammer swings. It's actually faster if you just do it without holding out your sword. You have less lag. As long as you're hitting it consistently, you're fine. Holding out your sword is more accurate, and you don't have to worry about the turnaround. So there's advantages to both.
Now, Falcon had a mostly clean fight, had to clutch it out at the end there. So this is still close between both of them, and jmeasher is going to go ahead and get those mitts right now.
Yeah, this is pretty much playing out to whose route is going to get them what, when, to get them the most progression. They both have the knowledge of the mitts, so that's not going to be any different for either one of them. Cfalcon might just be going right to those mitts because that's in the back of his mind. So it's still up to Cfalcon whether they're going to go do the Zora area, you know?
Now, there was a hint tile over there in the Dark World Ice Rod Cave, just under a rock over there. jmeasher did not go and check that, and that probably would have been the most convenient time to check that. So, odds are we will not see that.
No. Honestly, that particular hint tile is the hint tile that has always been forgotten. It might as well be always a joke hint, in my honest opinion there.
Yeah, usually about the only time you see it checked is if you still have to check Ice Rod Cave, and you just go over there in the Dark World to get the hint and the cave.
You know, I've seen it in inverted. That's what I've seen it in.
But Cfalcon just got his Master Sword. Probably going to head up for Catfish, Mushrooms, Zora, all that. While jmeasher, we're getting our first Death Mountain play.
It's a good time to do it. You actually have the ability to pretty much full clear Death Mountain. Actually, you do. They have the ability to full clear Death Mountain with the hammer.
Well, with the exception of Hookshot Cave.
Yes. So Hookshot Cave, they can't check anything in. The only thing they can get to is the floating. Going to get another hint tile check and going to be able to see what is inside the Spectacle Rock. Not a hole.
We know we don't have to do the Fireside Mire because that's just a compass and something we don't need.
That's very useful information. That's I've seen a lot of people not do this particular hint check. They'll still check the item and leave the hint. So if Cfalcon decides to skip that hint, that's going to be some that's going to be a huge time save for jmeasher.
So far, that mushroom did not pay off.
Yeah, so getting all these checks out of the way, we're going to see what the grumpy old fish has. We're also going to be able to see the... He's probably going to end up saving quitting, going to Link's house, and then going to get his mitts. It's probably going to be the best way. So at this point, the big difference is going to be Cfalcon has the powder, and jmeasher does not. But once we find our actual Kane, that can be sequence broken anyway, and it's on Stumpy. So.
And we're just getting a big old life lesson from Zora.
Yeah, kind of extreme. The waterfall actually had their Dark World access in the form of glow. And really, while the routing was good, it didn't pay off. So jmeasher is going to be up in Death Mountain area way earlier than Cfalcon, and we are going to be pretty much just waiting to see what pays out of here. Cfalcon might end up not doing the Death Mountain play, though, because they have the ability to go ahead and check the Magic Bat, and that is in a location that has a lot of checks as well. It just depends on what they feel is more item dense, because at this moment in time, they're probably about equal, with Death Mountain probably slightly ahead, with the fact that there's Hera.
They might hold off on the Village Outcast area, though, until they get the Fire Rods. That way they can do Skull Woods and Thieves Town together.
Ooh.
Cash and a unique item requires the big bomb.
So that hint can mean a bunch of different stuff. So unique item can be anything from Fire Rod, Ice Rod, Canis Samaria, a single arrow, and I think there was one more troll item that it could also be, right? Single rupee.
No, there's 2 single rupee.
I think it still puts that as on the unique item list, though. There's two troll items that it puts on the unique item list, and I know single arrow is one of them.
Well, it could also be the bug net.
That is true. It could also be the bug net. Uncle Bombs don't qualify as unique. Those aren't on the list of unique. That's a good find.
Ice Rod's unique.
Ice Rod on Moldorm's a great find. That's that makes it to where we're not going to be on the everlasting hunt for Ice-Tober. So yeah, I Blue Mail over there in the chess game. So we are in Village of Outcasts. Cfalcon's deciding to go ahead and skip the Death Mountain check. So we have our major divergence.
jmeasher found Blue Mail over in Tower of Hera, so we know where all of our mail upgrades are.
Did Jay really?
Pretty sure I saw it.
We will see when we have another menu. The tracker is not updated, which big shout outs to Raspberry Floof doing our tracking today, making sure we know what's going on, because Lord knows we wouldn't be able to tell for every moment. We may be commentating, but our eyes are only so good.
Hey, we got our first shield.
Yay, Babby's first shield.
Hey, you say that, but Fire Shield and Blinds is no joke.
And yes, jmeasher confirmed does have the Blue Mail, so we know we're ready. And yeah, I do agree. And honestly, when it comes to shields, we don't have a item or the required shields for Laser Bridge to be in Logic. You do require the mirror shield or Canis Samaria
or the cape. And was that our first bottle?
That is the first bottle. Had some red goo in there, so that's gonna be sick, kid. The flute is also by that bottle. That is amazing, because that's literally where they're gonna be heading.
Yeah, that you couldn't time that any better.
Yeah, that's that's rando, ladies and gentlemen. You literally ended up finding the right items, and your route is just solidifying everything. So that's amazing. We're going to be going in. We do not have any medallions, but we're going to see what medallions required for Turtle Rock. So that's useful going ahead and opening this.
Cfalcon did find Quake over in Thieves.
And guess what is required for Turtle Rock?
Is this even randomized?
Oh, you know, sometimes I wonder. A heart container was in what? I missed that.
In the castle.
In the castle. Great. So that's that is the escape, right? That's where it's saying it's at.
I don't know if we found a heart container in Escape. If we didn't, then that means it's in the main part of the castle. Wait, actually, it specifies that as sewers.
Yeah, that is sewers. So we've got Escape. Nobody's done Escape. They've done Uncle, and they've done the back of Escape. So they've done sewers.
And I also believe that they haven't found the map yet, so that means there's only possibly one good item in Hyrule Castle right now.
Yeah, because they didn't find the map. So that's pretty much going to leave it down to what? I doubt they're going to head there. That's probably going to be one of the last checks. All right, so Maiden Chest has a map, and we are going to end up checking the big chest here in just a second. It's a 50-50 shot of it being the compass, or...
It's going to be a dungeon item. Never mind, it's a B-Torp.
So that's a pretty nice place for the glove or the bottle to be for Cfalcon. They can go check Sick Kid right after.
Yeah, that actually is highly convenient.
It's actually pretty lucky. That's a really good spot for that because they were going to end up isolating another location. There's a few things when it comes to routing in this randomizer that I just try to avoid, and isolating annoying locations like Graveyard Ledge, things like that. It's like if I can couple it with something else, it makes it a lot easier. Cfalcon actually getting a relatively clean kill on blind there. You know, not 100% on script, but well done.
When you have 10 hearts and blue mail, you can afford to tank a few hits.
Absolutely.
I mean, the only heart that matters is the last one, right?
Exactly. I've seen plenty of half-heart kill boss. His entire life savings gone.
Yeah, it's a bit more than lunch money.
And we are going to be getting the check on good old Jeremiah. Honestly, one of my favorite little names that has come up from this community because, you know, obscure song reference 3. And getting in the slow peg cave, unfortunately, boots help here, but if the boots are here, ain't much you can.
There's a sword. I'll take slow peg K for that.
You know, yeah, why not? Unfortunately, we didn't find the hint for the purple chest, so we're probably going to end up getting that.
And, well, looks like they're ditching their swords into the Dark World, and they've went into the shieldsmithing business.
And we're going to be getting our magic bat check. Let's see if this is going to pay off in routing. And it's 20 rupees. So all the routing choices that Cfalcon had made pretty much paid off in
Peace of mind?
Yeah, maybe savings, piece of savings. And going on the long and winding road with the purple chest, gonna end up stopping at the cave south of Grove. So this ended up working out for Cfalcon as far as the whole isolated locations stuff. Be able to check this alongside of walking this chest down to its. All the troll locations are turning out to be empty. And interesting choice, deciding to go ahead and bail on the dark.
Well, the only thing that he could have used the Dark World portal for right now would be if he wanted to dip into Swamp Palace.
Is this even randomized?
Of course it is. Usually don't have it filled.
That's just an upgrade. And we're going to get a check on the desert ledge. Hey, look! A unique item is in plain sight.
To be fair, I don't think we had a unique item is in plain sight hint yet.
No, we haven't, but we are going to get Agina's cave checked out of the way. So another out-of-the-way location going to be marked off the list for Cfalcon. Possibly more piece of... It's another 20 rupee.
Oh, there's more big 20s and heart pieces, so... yeah. So this is probably going to be Cfalcon's trip up the mountain.
Yeah, and also Cfalcon's moment of saying, well, if I'd have just came here first, I could have had my flute activated and everything.
Yeah, but since he's got Quake first, he can check that hint tile in the front of Turtle Rock.
That is very true. If they decide to do that, that's not a bad idea. I've done that plenty of times, especially in an all dungeon seed. You're going to have to go in there anyway. Why not go ahead and...
Now, since jmeasher has not done the dig game yet, he'll be doing that first. You can't actually do the dig game while you have Jeremiah Bullfrog in tow.
Or the chest. You can leave the chest a screen or two behind, and still he will tell you you can't have a... Apparently he has a 1,000-mile stare. Doesn't matter where you leave that chest. If you picked it up and haven't lost it yet, he will tell you.
Yeah, he is very anti-helper for the dig game. Even if it is just a box. And Cfalcon getting the news that Fireside Meyer is a bust.
Useful information is useful.
Yeah, it also means Meyer's only worth 1 item right now.
That is also a very astute observation. Like, that didn't even occur to me that they actually know Meyer is a single item now. That's going to be what they need to check. So maybe great knowledge in the fact of jump in, jump out, good to keep it for go mode.
Yeah, they still don't have access to even get into Meyer though, because we have no boots, no hook shot to cross the gap.
Yeah, there is a unique item. So there's a unique item in the Pyramid Fairy. Desert Palace has the other 5/6 crystal. There's a strong possibility that it's not boots locked. It could very well be that access.
Yeah, there could be a hook shot in there, in the pyramid.
Or even boots. I mean, it could be one or the other. This is a very extreme possibility, but boots or hook shot could be in Meyer, blocked behind the other that's in the pyramid.
We're running out of unique items that aren't progression.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming down to they need Fire Rod, Hookshot, and the Cane of Samaria on a hard knowledge aspect, because boots are not always required. All 3 medallions aren't always required. It could very well be Quake on Meyer. jmeasher's probably heading to 6 right now. Yeah, they're exactly. So we're gonna get some more heads up here. Probably heading into desert. Probably checking the shed as well as the actual entrance for Meyer, knowing what it takes to get in.
And Checkerboard Cave.
And Checkerboard Cave as well. Yeah.
That was Bombos.
Oh, such a quick check. I missed that. So Bombos. So just like all these seeds lately, is V30 gonna play us again? Is the key under? So far, no.
Well, we still have Checkerboard Cave and Desert Palace to check. That's pretty close to under the mat.
Yeah, I mean, if it qualifies, if it finds it in Desert Palace or Checkerboard Cave, yeah, definitely finding the key under the mat.
Well, bad news. We got a troll hint. Good news. Desert is nowhere near boots lock. And Cfalcon taking the dive on Trolldorn. And looks like he didn't want him down here. Told him, get back up there. But we have We have our Moldorm kill, and Cfalcon is going to get his Ice Rod.
jmeasher is going to go ahead and check the right side, and will most likely go right in and do the back of desert as well. Probably take the portal and go back and do checkerboard cave after that. It really, either one doesn't matter. That's a very good find. Fire rod in the right side.
And because of how desert was set up, he was able to just check everything, end up on the far side of desert, mirror right back to the front, or right back to the side he wanted, and we're probably going to see a very quick Lambo kill.
Yeah, half magic, fire rod. I mean, you also have tempered sword. Yeah, there's not going to be any problem.
Yeah, each Lambolus takes either 4 slashes or 2 spins of the tempered sword or 2 fire rod shots, and they're dead. And Cfalcon probably saying, "Thanks, gang."
Yeah, the item that you needed to actually get up here, yeah, that requires a bomb.
And jmeasher looked like a 2-cycle kill, and he's got his 5-6 crystals now.
So we're probably going to get a check on what that unique item is in the Pyramid Fairy. I mean, really, at this point, it's going to be whatever's there for progression. Ice Palace is also fully in logic, so we're probably going to see an Ice Palace play here soon.
Well, Ice Palace might not be completely in logic, because we don't have the hook shot or the red cane.
Very true. But as far as most runners knowing the Ice Palace bomb jump, it's really, with having the fire rod and everything, even not knowing where Bombos is at, I like the idea of going to Ice Palace. It's now, as far as checking the Pyramid Fairy first, knowing that there's a unique item in there, I probably would do that.
Yeah, I would like the Pyramid Fairy play.
Because right now, the green pendant is Swamp Palace. Until we find Hookshot, Swamp Palace is just really not a good play. So, you're not going to dive Swamp Palace expecting to find the Hookshot. Even though I've seen it plenty of times, vanilla Hookshot is a real thing. You just don't want to do that.
I mean, it depends how crazy these runners are. One of the qualifier seeds for this tournament had a really quick time on a left side hook shot swamp seed.
Oh yeah, the gambles can pay off, undoubtedly. But I'm interested to see what their choices.
With that fire rod, that also puts Skull Woods in logic, and they can just clear that too. And judging by where jmeasher's going, we're about to see Skull Woods.
Not a bad play. Skull Woods is not a bad play right now either, just finding that fire.
And chat's bringing up a interesting point. This is all dungeons, so we could see our runners in Ganon's Tower before the before the pendants are clearable, and we could see a hook shot in Ganon's tower.
That is very true. That is very true. The only thing that we would not find in Ganon's tower that would be required for these pendants would be the Cane of Samaria. That would not be possible at all because Cane of Samaria is needed for this. All in all, though, these runners aren't much different. They're not far off from each other. Cfalcon's a dungeon behind, but that's desert. It's gonna come down to where Cfalcon goes after these checks. Are they gonna do what we were suggesting with Pyramid Fairy? Are they gonna try maybe to go to Ice Palace? Is jmeasher's play gonna be the right one, as it seems to have been most of these routes here, the way he's been going? I'll be interested on that, because Skull Woods, there used to be a time where Skull Woods had a lot of value. Early Skull Woods, as soon as you had Dark World access, had 2 items, and it was it tended to be loaded with items.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot out of Skull Woods lately in V30.
That's the main thing. V30 has not been one of those that's been kind to Skull Woods. Skull Woods kind of got left behind in that. Kind of like but Hype Cave's been kind of tripe for a while now.
A quick Mothula kill from jmeasher, though. And bombs for your trouble.
And that was only one of our items. So jmeasher doing a very good routing choice of Skull Woods when you have the fire rod and you're not looking for it to be able to go to the back and you're not just dipping the dungeon, going to the back and coming from back to forward first, you can save yourself a lot of time by getting both items quick and not having to worry about anything. So they've got one item. They're going to be able to limit how much they actually have to check. Now, sometimes it doesn't pay off, but for the most part, that saves you more time than checking the front going to the back.
Yeah, you just checked the one chest on the way, the Gibdo room, the statue room there. And I imagine that is just because it is on the way.
And it's going to come down to this chest. Is it going to be the big key to have to go back to the big key chest, or is it going to be the second item? So pretty much it is ammo, Skull.
Yeah, I believe we end up with the big key locked in the big key chest this time.
That is the 1-for-1 key logic. So yes, big key locked in the big key chest. We're going to see what is on the Bumper Cave ledge. Can't do this without Cape. So it is just our 4th bottle. Good night, B-Torp. You're staying up there.
So our bottles this run had red potion, blue potion, and 2B.
Now, jmeasher is going to be doing the Graveyard Ledge by itself. No boots to be able to do King's Tomb. No boots to be able to do Bonk Rocks. So, not a bad decision in the fact of you don't know if you're going to find boots or if they're even going to be in, GT. So it's really just a matter of now you just come back for Bonk Rocks. Now you just come back for King's Tomb if you even have to.
And since they have mitts, they don't even have to do a Dark World trek for King's Tomb. So with jmeasher heading to this Dark World portal, I have to imagine that this is a Pyramid Fairy play.
I hope so. Yeah, that's it. That's where they're going. And Cfalcon is mimicking jmeasher, most likely going to Skullwood.
At this point, with the exception of one of them not having checked the Dark Cross chest, I believe their checks have synced up pretty much right.
Pretty much. Cfalcon did the Dark Cross, and jmeasher hasn't. That's it. jmeasher just happens to be a decent amount ahead. I mean, having done Skullwoods and already checking the Pyramid Fairy, this is a sizable lead.
And I think a lot of this is because his routing options have paid off. And there's that hook shot.
So hook shot locked behind Desert Palace, and now we have access. Well, we have the ability once we find Bombos to get through Mire. But why not go to Swamp Palace? It gives you a green pendant. It's already fully clearable. Yeah, that's the right move here. And on top of that, you can also do Ice Palace right afterwards.
Now, with that play, jmeasher has pretty much orphaned Hyrule Castle. That was the best time to go ahead and go through the escape, and he chose not to. So that is more than likely just going to be left alone.
And we know it's probably just a single item. There's a very, very slim chance that it's going to be something. It's not really that big of a deal because you know one item is a heart, and you know one item's a map, and the third one is just a...
The third one you're gambling is nothing important.
Yeah, you're hoping that it's not your Bombos, you're hoping that it's not your Can of Samar. Oh, thanks, game. I think we checked that already.
Now, there's one hint that is guaranteed to lead to the boots, and we have not seen that yet.
Again, there is that hint over in the Dark Ice Rod or Dark Shopping Mall that hardly ever gets checked in open mode. It could be that one. And there's also one in Aga Tower. It could be very well that one.
Yeah, which ideally you hold Aga Tower until after Ganon's Tower, because you beat Ganon's Tower, which puts you on top of the pyramid. Then you do Aga Tower, it spits you back on the pyramid again, and then you go kill Ganon. That's ideally what happens.
And in all dungeons, that's usually the route. It hardly ever goes different than that unless Aga is required for Dark World access. So that's pretty common.
And since we found that hook shot, they can full clear swamp, so the only pendant that they can't clear now is Turtle Rock, and we need the red cane for Mire. So, yeah, we're not going to have an important item in GT or the pedestal.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the only thing on pedestal that could really be I'd call it important but not required would be boot.
Well, I just realized there is one possibility. Bombos.
Bombos, yes. The actual key to Meyer. So jmeasher is choosing to go ahead and bypass left side swamp. We didn't actually see that hit. Hey, look.
Well, that's a thing.
That is a unique item, otherwise known as Cane. Yeah, so there's Turtle Rock and there's Meyer. We can pretty much call it. That's, well, we need Bombo still. We need Bombo still. Bombos is the big one. Bombos probably is going to be in TR, if I had to guess. Knowing this game, Laser Bridge, Ice Palace is usually a good thing for that too. It likes to pop up there, giving you that last minute, hey, let me make Cold Stare easier for you.
But they have half magic, so yeah, I think they're fine with using the Fire Rod on the ship.
Yeah. Yeah, and Cfalcon is definitely just following along jmeasher's footsteps here, going to do their Pyramid Fairy right now. And jmeasher getting the quick kill on... I blanked on their name.
Argus?
Argus. I kept wanting to call him Vitreous, and I'm like, that is Meyer. Yeah, Argus, and getting the big key for their trouble. That means I'm pretty sure that's going to put an item on the left-hand side. I think they found compass. I don't think they found map.
And this might also be why they left, why they didn't do left side yet. So instead of having to come back upstairs if they found the big key in the bottom, or if it ends up on Argus, then they're coming back in anyway.
We have already checked the Pyramid Fairy. That's where the hook shot was and why jmeasher is in the Swamp Palace, right? And there you go. That is the map. So 2 items on left-hand side. Will it be worth it, or will it be the typical Swamp Palace troll?
And I can see Cfalcon is probably going to head over to Swamp and follow in jmeasher's footsteps.
I mean, at this point, why not? It's the natural progression to go right into Swamp and finding hookshot, and it's also the green pendant. Why go do Ice Palace when completing Ice Palace doesn't really do anything for you other than getting the checks out of them?
Yeah, Ice Palace is only worth 3 items. Swamp Palace is worth 6 plus the green pendants for a total of 7.
And I do want to give a shout out to the sprite devs for this retro Link sprite. The swimming animation is the
raft.
I've been watching that and loving that the entire time.
My only complaint with the raft at that point is you can't tell what direction you're facing.
that part is a little rough, but still, it's so cool. Oh, here comes the 20s.
Now, that hint is good for Cfalcon, because he has not gone to check the pose yet.
That's time safe. Yeah, so that was a heart refill. I believe it was just a piece of heart, not the same.
Yeah, I believe we already found the Sank heart.
I didn't realize that.
And jmeasher is not turning in the green pendant yet. He's going straight into Ice Palace.
I like it. I mean, you gotta do dungeons, you know? It's an all dungeons seed. Do what you gotta do. I would probably turn in the green pendant right after this and then go over to TR. And that's such... Okay, I gotta say, that hint right there is actually a rude hint. Because it requires the hammer, but it's all the way in the flooded chests of Swamp. So it's like... Yeah, it required the hammer, but it's all the way in the back.
Yeah, but it's not lying.
No, it's not.
It also could be in Ice Palace from that hint.
And that is also true. That is also true, but yeah, that's just... So another kind of important item that we haven't found yet that a few runners may have a little trouble with. Silverless Ganon. We still haven't found silvers. With having tempered, it's a lot easier to do the sword spins. And there's our held with the fishes hint.
I believe held with the fishes can also include underwater, like under the dam or in the 2 flooded chests in Swamp.
Those will actually say drowned or underwater. Held with the fishes is either Zora or Catfish. Alright, so he's got that bomb jump. Because there's a hint that specifically states, oh no, he missed, he got
firebar.
Yeah, there's a very specific spot you have to stand for that, but he got that bomb jump again immediately. But yeah, the hint stating under the fishes is referring to the literal fish, but there is a hint that also does state underwater or drowned, and that one means that it can be with the Zora Catfish or also the flooded or the dam. So that one's a little bit more broad.
jmeasher got that bomb jump, saving a little bit more time.
With finding the big key where they did, I'm surprised they went for that. Okay, that's a great hint.
Yeah, because Myra's worth 1 item, but it's a unique item.
So we know it's not going to be our go mode. Could be boots.
Yeah, because the Bombos is our go mode.
Bombos is our go mode. So here's the thing. That unique item could be the bug net. It could be Cape, Cane of Samar, or Cane of Brian. Could be Ether. Could be boots. Could be book. So honestly, do you take the chance? Do you take the chance?
Well, that's rough.
What if you get Godmire and get that big key right there in that first chest?
Oh, anytime I get Godmire, I take it anyway. The question is, do I go back in?
Well, yeah.
Because Vitreous could have the item.
That's very true. I mean, if I go back to Vitreous, I'm not going back in for a unique item if I don't need it. It's either I'm checking those for other few chests right then, or I'm leaving.
So Misha has the big key. I'm guessing he found all the items.
Must have. There's still a key out there, and also another dungeon item in the form of compass. So, or map. I forget which one they had found. Yeah, so map and a small key. They found all.
2 small keys.
So they must be leaving another chest. They didn't check Iced Tea room, did they?
Right, but it takes a key to get to take that south door into there, and a key to the right of Cold.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So here's that key right there, and there you go. So yeah, Ice Palace was, other than a semi-useful hint, pretty empty. Other than getting another required dungeon out of all dungeons. Yeah, so there we go. Probably on to check Sahasrahla right now, and then on to TR. We also haven't checked Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, they didn't have Hookshot the first check through. And, we're not seeing a Sahasrahla check.
Ooh, okay. You know? Single item, okay, alright.
And Cfalcon is not doing Ice Palace first. They're going up here to Turtle Rock.
I can see that. That's interesting, but I can see that. They're following what they got. Ice Palace was already pretty much available to them, but the problem here is they're both going to end up being pigeonholed back to Meyer anyways, but so Meyer is pretty much going to be the last dungeon you're doing either way. Cfalcon finds Bombos in Turtle Rock, comes down, does Ice Palace, goes over to Meyer. jmeasher finds it, just goes right over to Meyer. So it's like, for Cfalcon, it's probably better to go ahead and do it this way anyway, because Ice Palace is going to need to be done that way. So I don't know. It's not a bad choice.
See, I figured you would check Ice Palace first and hope to find Bombos there, so that way you can do Turtle Rock last, and then go to Ganon's Tower and then Aga Tower and kill the pit.
Cfalcon's going to be doing the Hookshot Cave first, which, because they've already opened Turtle Rock, this is going to be easily done. Whoops.
Oops.
The sudden stop of, oh, right. There's a chest over there. Come on, Hookshot Cave. Oh.
It's a bust. Now, jmeasher skipped it first. Probably because Turtle Rock, the only difference Go Mode makes is, depending on how the keys line up, you don't have to do Laser Bridge.
I mean, either way, you got to do the dungeon. Yeah, it's, I mean, the time save of not doing Hookshot Cave over a possible Go Mode TR. Like, the sound of Go Mode TR just kind of makes you chuckle because you know it's, like, such a rare. Yeah, and pretty much with that layout right there, they're almost assured to be going to Laser Bridge. I think usually for Go Mode TR, you have to have 2 small keys and the big key in the front, and then the next chest has to be a small. I'm sure there's another layout that can probably have that happen, but it's really rare if you don't get this.
Yeah, because this chain chomp room has to be a small key.
Yeah, they're pretty much on the route now of getting small keys to progress. But hey, Bugnet.
Yeah, that's a plus.
both of the runners deciding to leave Sahasrahla behind. The lonely elder over there holding his item in anticipation of getting his family heirloom.
Yeah, Sahasrahla was orphaned long ago. And we had a one-up Toad for a moment there.
That's a pretty decent bunny sprite. I don't know what the classic Link sprite is.
For Bunny, I don't know either. So, spin the key, get a compass. We can find the big chest and the boss now.
Yay! Now if only I had a map to be able to pinpoint where I need to go.
Those 8 bomb drops, though.
Yeah, if only we had a higher capacity to be able to hold all those bombs. We're gonna get a good old Mimic Cave check. Let's see if that holds our key to Mire. It's still possible, though. Head could hold that Bombos, and it's gonna be a blind pull without finding the...
I've seen this play a few times. It's still kind of odd.
Going in and checking the big chest before doing...
Yeah.
It's just got to do with it being whether or not you're one item away from go mode.
So, I was going to bring up a point that since we don't have Mirror Shield, Cape, or Burna, that we don't have logical access to Laser Bridge. I guess that got fixed, though.
I was wondering about that, too. The whole time we're heading over here, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, technically, by logic, we do need one more item for Gomo, or for, like, the logic of TR. And I was wondering if it was going to be showing up in this next chest in the roller bar room, or in Mimic Cave, and...
That also puts Spike Cave in logic now.
That is also... Spike Cave was already in logic. Half magic in a bottle puts that in logic.
But we didn't get our invulnerability item until now.
You don't need the invulnerability item. With half magic and a bottle, it puts it in logic because... Oh, you know, you're right. The invulnerability item with half magic is what you need. There's another stipulation, too. Or did they actually remove that? I'm trying to remember, there was another stipulation at one point, and it must have been the bottle, and they removed that stipulation.
Yeah, because half magic and cane gets you there.
Yeah, you know, I've played too many versions of this with too many logic. Game assumes you have 3 hearts. That does make more sense. The old one used to be 10 hearts and bottles, yeah. Half magic or bottle. Yeah.
So far on Laser Bridge, we've got 20 rupees, a piece of heart, the key.
Ow.
A boop to the side to knock you off the bridge.
Straight to the side of the head. And there's Gomo! Right there in the... If it's not Laser Bridge, it's always Laser Bridge. So at 1:29:18-ish, jmeasher has reached Go.
And this means for Cfalcon, he will have a Go Mode Ice Palace.
And Go Mode Ice Palace is actually pretty quick. You know, oddly enough, as far as like Go Mode dungeons, Swamp Palace is annoying doing left side. I know nobody likes to do it. Give me Go Mode Ice Palace any day. I want to get out of those ice physics as quickly as possible. super clean on the first two heads of Trinex. And boom, quick kill done. Good night, Trinex.
They stood just in the right position to get a double spin on that. And it only takes 5 swipes of Tempered or 2 spins and a hit, and he's... Cfalcon opted to take a hit there in order to get that ice head down just a little bit quicker. It's still got ice down, but it's probably not going to matter.
Yeah, jmeasher is sizably ahead right now. They're going to be able to go mode Meyer, just depending on Meyer being nice or not, giving us, God Meyer. Do they want to... I mean, they could find the second item along the way. That's a very big possibility too. So it could be a very useful item in the form of the boots. We'll see. But both of our runners are in go mode. Once Meyer's done, it's on to Ganon's Tower. We do need to also beat Aga 1. So let's not forget that. This is all dungeons.
Yeah, Cfalcon gets to go mode Ice Palace, which jmeasher did not have that luxury. However, now that they're both in go mode, we can say measher has a 1 dungeon lead right now. And even if it's go mode, that can be pretty significant.
It's a pretty significant lead. There's no doubt about it. There's nothing that Cfalcon's going to leave behind an Ice Palace, so there's no item. Advantage here when it comes to go moding Ice Palace. Elminster, yeah, it was at Bombos on Laser Bridge because, of course, it's always Laser Bridge.
And it's got Godmire.
Welcome to First Chest Big Key. And going to go ahead and check this, knowing about the unique item. Thank you. By the way, Dark Shadows, I would like you to be witness to this. Did I not call that there would be the item in the Pyramid Fairy, letting you in to Meyer to get the other one?
You called it. You did call this. Oh.
Oh, wow. Yeah, silverless, but silvers could very well be in GT.
I mean, let's be honest. Between the two of them, they've checked quite a bit. Pretty much everything except for Bonk Rocks, King's Tube, and Ped and Green Pendant. Oh, yeah. And the book locations.
Yeah, pretty much. So here's an interesting theory craft here for you. Cfalcon gets to Meyer, gets the big key, decides to skip that second chest, misses out on boots. The big key or the silvers. The big key or the silvers are right there on the torch, available for jmeasher. So Cfalcon is missing out on that hint that jmeasher got. So jmeasher had a, idea of a unique item. Cfalcon just knows there's a second item.
Yeah, there's definitely a good chance that Cfalcon just goes.
That's honestly, I would probably do that exact same thing. Not having the hint telling me there's a unique item in Meyer. In jmeasher's position, I would have checked that chest every day, knowing there's a unique item, thinking to myself, what could it be that would hurt? nothing. Anything I get is just going to be either knowledge or, hey, I just settled that it's not boots. Now I have boots. My descent's going to be faster. It makes things easier. It could have been silvers, you know? Could have been gold sword. I don't know if swords are considered unique items, actually.
I don't believe so. I believe it's something sharp.
Yeah, so it'll say specifically. Well, when it does the specifics, but yeah, there is the big key guessing game, folks. We have started it. Go ahead. Yeah, thank you for starting that Raspberry Floof. We do appreciate that. Get your guesses in chat, 1 through 22 locations. And jmeasher is on his way up right now. Once they enter, they will be stopping this game. And what is your guess, Dark Shadows?
Yeah, you know what? With how things been going for jmeasher, 3.
Going for 3. I'm going to go with 11, mainly because that's my favorite guess. The typical routing sends people left, and that's rando room. And it's either the top left or the bottom right chest, depending on which order they check it in. So I enjoy 11. He's going to check Hookshot Cave. He really wants those silvers. That's interesting.
Right here. I mean, if you find silvers, it saves you more time than you just took, even if it's in the last chest.
And I mean, in all honesty, if it's just a matter of comfortability too. It's something that NMG runners are used to because you don't get silvers. You go straight into Ganon with Tempered Sword. You're doing spin slashes. You're getting that frame. It's what you're used to.
And
there's a lot of folks
did not get the boots.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would be the case. I had a feeling. So whatever's on Torch could be the difference. Number 1, small key, and number 2, mirror shield.
Since he has the keys, jmeasher is going to check right side.
Not an uncommon route, not the most common. So we're going to see probably a mess up in everybody's guessing game, but let's go ahead and see what we've got. I mean, personally, when it comes to silverless for me, I mean, oh, that helped.
3 was the butter sword.
And all them 20 rupees. Like, silverless to me, if I have tempered, I don't mind it. Master Sword silverless is obviously long and drawn out, but it's more of a game in learning how to keep to movements and patterns and just sticking to a pattern. I really don't like Master Sword and silvers. I don't like how you get knocked to the side and you have to reposition. It gets annoying sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bit rough to get that positioning at times.
I mean, it's not entirely difficult because obviously you do have a decent amount of time to be able to reset. It's just one of those things that's like, this should be easier than what it is.
And Book was number 10 there. And we got Ether.
So my guess was Ether.
I'm just double checking my count to make sure I'm right.
Yeah, so 11 is Ether. This is going to be number 12 here in the fire bar room. 300. Are we going to have a 22? Or is it going to be vanilla again? It tends to be a vanilla quite a bit. So here's a chance for Cfalcon to actually make up some time.
Yeah,
oh no, they got dead. So if Cfalcon goes left, they'll skip out on the right side. Lack of stuff. I mean, they may be able to get the may miss out on the butter sword. That's not going to make too big of a difference unless we find silvers in this.
Yeah, we're going to see Rando Room. This is, I believe, 14 through 17.
No, this will be 15 through 18. Because Armos 9, or no, excuse me, no, you're right. You're right. You were correct. Because there is Bob's chest as well. How could I forget Bob's chest? Shame on me for forgetting Bob's chest.
And there's a nice bonk across the teleport tile.
The other strat that I've seen done when you don't have boots there is damage boosting across it. That's always really cool to see. Taking damage from one of those beats. Wow, vanilla chance right now. So we're going to go into Ice Armos, and we're going to see number 18, 19, 20, and 21. And then Tile Room will be 22.
And Ice Armos, it's kind of nice to have the silvers here just because movement on ice.
Yeah, getting a quick kill without the silvers on Ice Armos is definitely not as easy. 10 arrows, 5 rupees, and the big key at 21.
Oh, that's and Cfalcon is going left, so he's going to get a little bit of a time save. Yeah, he's going to get a little bit of a time save on this.
So we're going to see whether or not... Okay, so he's going to have enough arrows. I was looking at that. So we're going to see where Cfalcon kind of lands once they get to Ice Armos. You know, the difference between silverless gold sword and silverless tempered sword is relatively minimal. It is a difference, but it's not as big of a difference as if we had silvers.
Yeah, and if you're really good with tempered sword, you can still one cycle phases 1 and 2. So it's possible that there is no difference.
And so far, jmeasher is actually getting a relatively clean gauntlet. This room. I hate this room.
It's not too bad until you get knocked halfway across the room by the BMOS.
I always miss my initial dash to get them both in that one shot. This room's always a pain too, but jmeasher made that room look easy. He actually recovered very well on the 2 Zizix room there, and almost one cycle on our land.
And he's still got enough magic to go ahead and take care of this room and the 4 Wiz Road room, and probably the torch room as well with the fire rod.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, half magic's coming into play.
And even then, he'll have enough to be able to get these 2 torches, and he has the small magic that he can pick up over here. That bonk could be costly. Got it.
Now he might wait. There we go. If you do a transition as the torches go out, you can despawn all the sprites in the tower.
That happened in a race just recently, and they had to mirror back and go do the gauntlet all over.
And jmeasher is still checking for those silvers. These are on the way, so not a bad idea to check. It saves more time than it takes checking.
So the real question is Maldorm 2 going to betray his match?
I believe it was the last race I commentated actually had the silvers in Moldorm's chest.
Nope, 50 rupees. So we're gonna get the spoiler hint from Ganon, and you know, I wonder if it's held with an elder. Alright, Aga 2, a test of geometry. Common thing everybody says, but let's see what patterns we get. That's not a bad pattern. It's a little bit rough if you're not. Oh, I hate these square patterns.
Especially when Aga throws the blue ball.
Yeah.
Again.
So, 2-1-1, need 2 more hits. Boom, just like that. Lined up that third try, or fourth try, excuse me. 2-1-1-2. Well done on Aga 2, especially with those patterns.
That probably would have been a triple.
Yeah. That was actually really close to a triple. So now, jmeasher must remember to mirror. You said this was Cfalcon's choice, correct?
No, this was jmeasher's choice.
Okay, so jmeasher will remember, because they chose all done.
That's one nice thing about having Butter Sword going up the tower. Ball and chain guards, they melt just like butter.
Everything melts like butter in this place. You're supposed to come through here with Master Sword. We have 2 upgrades. Yeah, you know, silvers being in the big chest would also be pretty useful. That's like Ganon's homely possessions. He's just like, I'm gonna put these safely right here.
I mean, at least he'd be keeping them. At least he'd be keeping them locked up at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like you know, those games where you have to kill the boss to get their key to go get the item from them, that kind of thing.
Cfalcon has his land molus down, so he'll be up to Moldorm 2 and Aghanim before too much longer.
Not even going for the pod strat. Got the gold sword, just threw the first pot, immediately swung his sword and got it. Cfalcon missing the one cycle on Wizrobe 2. If you're not fast enough going over those conveyors, you can miss that one cycle.
Yeah, and he was using the conveyor to get across that long bridge faster.
That's right, because Cfalcon doesn't have boots.
Yeah.
Boots were in the spike chest in Mire, which jmeasher got a hint in Ice Palace in the large ice room, stating there's a unique item in Mire, where there was a hint prior that both runners got, stating there was a heart piece on Fireside chest. So we knew it was a good item. We knew it was the only item we needed. So jmeasher got that Cfalcon go-moded Ice Palace. So they didn't get that hint. That's why they didn't check that spike chest, because the big key was on the bridge, the long bridge. So yeah, that's your recap of what's going on.
In the meantime, we got jmeasher 2 blue balls in on Aga.
Oh, that's rough. This is a guaranteed normal energy shot, though. So each one after the lightning is a guaranteed energy.
And Cfalcon's not bothering to look for a sword or silvers. He's just going. He's not checking anything.
He must feel behind. I can imagine if you're just thinking, you know, where am I compared to my opponent? They chose this. I might be behind.
And I believe that was 3 blue balls for jmeasher.
But here we go. We're dropping right down into the big pig, getting that heart refill right after Aga 1. That's another unique and easy thing for that. And that's a new quote. I haven't seen the "I'll have all my monsters parade" quote. Doing the dash strats.
He's got,
and we're gonna face.
Nice dodge. I just jinxed it.
One hit with red mail. This is just gonna come down to getting that torch glitch and making sure we hit our spins at the right time. And not falling.
Yeah, not falling kind of helps.
So taking bets, where do you think the silvers are? The light world. It's Saha. Has to be Saha.
Yeah, Saha or
possibly on tablet.
Yeah, Saha, tablets, Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb, or the
pedestal. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of locations that are left. I want it to be Saha so bad. Because they could have checked that so easily.
Yeah, but we're not going to know.
We'll know if it's on the ped, at least. That's one we will get. And I think he's only got 1 or maybe 2 more spins.
Oh, a little early.
I might have been off by 1. Oh no, maybe I'm way off. I thought... There, okay. I was off by 2. So, there we go. Once he hits that door, get your GGs in the chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have bacon. jmeasher crosses the door and finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 31 seconds.
And major GG, I mean, 153 is a pretty good time for an all dungeon seed. That's especially for, you know, having to get Bombos on Laser Bridge. Yeah, well done. And they are already ready. Say that 5 times fast. For an interview. I'm going to go ahead and bring jmeasher. jmeasher, GG, getting first place on this all dungeon seed. How?
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good. It's been tough getting wins so far in this group. So.
And did you feel pretty clutch and like pumped when you checked that spike chest in Meyer and you're like, I knew?
I was pretty confident boots were in there. I looked at a lot of hints this seed, and there's always a hint that that tells you where boots are. And once I checked the Turtle Rock one after I'd seen the one in Ice Palace, like, okay, I'm 99% sure boots are in Meyer. So I was going to clear that dungeon. Obviously not, Firelock side, but everything else I was going to be checking to find those.
That's actually very interesting to hear. To kind of get that mindset that you were going to do that. So why not check?
Why not check Saha? Well, I finished everything in the eastern area pretty early, so you know there wasn't really an opportunity. I'm trying to think. Like at each location I hit after I found what was it? After I found Mirror in Pod, it was like, go to Thieves Town, do that, go to Desert Palace, because I got access there, got the Fire Rod, so that kind of just naturally led you to Skull Woods. And then there was the hint that mentioned unique item, and Pyramid Ferris was like, you got to hit that up at some point, so it just kind of never came back up. I'm guessing, I guess you're saying that because that might be where silvers are?
That's my thought. That's like my bet, is that silvers are there.
Either there or on the tablets.
Or PED. PED is also an option.
It's not on PED, as you'll probably see soon on the credit screen.
It could also been Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb.
Oh, that's true. And boots being as late as they were, there's no way I'm going over there to check.
Oh no, not with Gold Sword. Not with Gold Sword. Yeah, Cfalcon actually went left side straight, so he didn't even get his Gold Sword. So he's going to be doing he's doing his tempered pretty much NMG. But that Moon Pearl location too, man, digging up the Moon Pearl like that, like okay.
Yeah, it felt pretty nice having both the hammer and Moon Pearl at that point. Seeing the glove on the floating island or the Lake Hylia island was kind of maybe grown a little bit, because that's usually a sign that you're going to have to do agate. But then, of course, the other pair of gloves were like right after that. So
yeah, right next to it. That's if you go back and watch the VOD, I'm like, oh, that means Aga's more likely. And then as soon as I said that, you open the next chest. It was immediately not.
Of course. Because of course.
And we do see that it was a full heart on PED. So yeah, it was one of those three locations. Either Bonk Rocks, the King's Tomb, or Sahasrahla, which I'm like really want to get to be Sahasrahla, even though we may never know. So I mean, I'm gonna do it. Or the tablets. I keep forgetting the tablets are a thing too, with Book being in GT. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the generic commentator guy. What were your thoughts on the seed overall?
I mean, pretty straightforward. I don't know if it's necessarily. It was a little linear. Like I said, you just kind of kept getting items that led you to another location, another dungeon. So there wasn't anything too crazy going on here. I don't know. I felt like I routed it overall pretty well. Executed well for the most part. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there were only, I believe, 2 real points of route divergence. Other than that, you two followed the same route. As you said, it ended up being fairly linear.
Yeah.
With that.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, excuse me. I did want to go ahead and announce this. Cfalcon did just finish with another sub 2 on this all dungeon seed. So yeah, GG to Cfalcon as well.
1 hour, 58 minutes, 54 seconds.
Yeah, it feels like these all dungeon seeds are a lot of times going to be like that. And there definitely can be some divergence. Feels like they're always close. And it's just kind of one of those things, if you feel like your execution, you can maybe execute a little bit better than the opponent, you're probably better off going the all dungeons route.
Was that the main reason you chose all dungeons this time around, with this being?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Cfalcon's a really, really good runner. I think that's an evidence. I mean, he's in the group stage. I felt like I might be able to execute just a little bit better, and I ended up winning. So I guess it worked out.
Hey, I mean, it's a very valid comment. I mean, it's one of those things where you've got confidence in yourself and what you're doing and how you're running, and it's one of those things in these group stages that you got to look at who you're going against. And, you know, when you're playing against players like, I'm not even going to name drop all the names I could, you got to really think about it. You know, you have people that can do certain things. You got to think who has practiced inverted, who hasn't, who's familiar with what all dungeons means, who's not. You know, execution being a major thing, forcing them to have to do every single dungeon, every single boss. It's a big thing. So it was a very valid thing to choose, and you definitely showed off some really good routing. Your routing was flawless. Well, I would say close to flawless. Flawless is a very, very strong word. You literally got all the items you needed and ended up being able to do flute and everything like that all in one circular motion. You didn't have to really backtrack anything.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it just kind of it worked out a little bit, but it's kind of one of the things I like to focus on is just efficiency in routing and try to, you know, hit as many locations as possible in one.
Okay, Cfalcon is waiting for us in the setup. I'm going to go ahead and bring them on in as well. Cfalcon, GG to you. Getting a sub 2 in this all dungeons seed. How do you?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. I feel okay. I just heard you mentioning a second ago about jmeasher's route being perfect because mine was definitely not. I was all over the place in several parts. But I was actually surprised I sub-2'd it, especially without boots, and apparently me literally walking by boots, but...
That all came down to a hint. You go moding Ice Palace, which in any other instance would have been fine. The hint in the long ice room stated there was a unique item in Mire. So it kind of put jmeasher on that line of, it's most likely boots. So...
yeah. It does make perfect sense now, so...
But, I mean, any other time, go moding Ice Palace is it's what you kind of look for in a seed. You want to be able to go mode Ice and go mode Swamp. So it worked on many senses, but, you know, unfortunately, that's what happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, did boots make the difference in the race? Probably not, because, there's, you know, like I said, there were so many other things that I ended up, you know, doing, that kind of wasted a bunch of time, like, you know, I thought it was a great decision once I got to Dark World, and after I found that bow in the back of Escape to head to Pod, and I got very lucky pulling the mirror out of there pretty quickly in that combo, but even finding the mushroom in there, I still question why on earth, I mean, the pyramid have matched over ice, but I still question why on earth I went pyramid to catfish, to mushroom to catfish to Zora at that point. I guess I got a little bit too caught up on the fact that the first time I went to Zora I didn't have enough money. I should have just left that alone, probably, but because by the time I did that and I looked back at my timer, I'm like, wow, that was like a 2-minute walk. That was probably a waste of time.
I mean, interestingly enough, the first thing that kind of, y'all were neck and neck the entire, well, I won't say neck and neck. Y'all were in sync for most of it. Y'all were in similar dungeons, at similar fights, similar sections. The first thing that kind of put just enough time between you and jmeasher was you had actually gone, after doing the route from Lost Woods, you went to South Kakariko to start, and then you had to come back up and then route back down. So that kind of got jmeasher a little bit further ahead because he started up at top, ended up getting the bombs, coming back down, and then from there they went to get pyramid and catfish into eastern to pod, or pod to eastern, and do that route, and it ended up helping. That's the route that ended up happening because they got their sword. They ended up not having to worry about doing Zora. They did catfish obviously as well, but okay. it ended up being just one thing on top of another that did just kind of add up, and that happens.
Right, and admittedly, now that I think about that route also would have worked out a lot better because as soon as I got the mirror out of pod, I admit my first thought was, well, crap, this is awkward. There's Titansmiths waiting south of me. What do I do? Do I just go and grab those and forget pyramid and catfish right now? And instead, of course, I went north, and then I save and quit because I wanted the mitts as soon as I could because I knew they were sitting there. And being able to do that in a nice circle, if I'd gone north first, would have worked out a lot better than what I did. But that happens.
Yeah, I admittedly didn't have that dilemma because I actually did Eastern first, and of course I was kicking myself because of course mirrors there in pod. But yeah, I kind of made my decision easy. It's like right after pod, just head straight down and grab the bit.
Yeah, once you two went into dungeon dives, the only real divergence was jmeasher, when you went up to Death Mountain, that was the point where Cfalcon went over into the Village Outcast area, and then on the go mode, I believe Cfalcon went up to Death Mountain before doing Ice Palace.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to find. I was hoping before I went to Village of Outcasts that I would find the Fire Rod. So I was like, well, I can do a lot on Death Mountain. I could do Hera. I can get all the Light World items, and I could get the Super Bunny chests, and also see what Turtle Rock Medallion was. But yeah, obviously, Fire Rod was somewhere else. So that didn't really pay off the way I was hoping, but I think either decision there would have been fine. I think going to Village Outcast first was a perfectly fine decision as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember why I might have gone there first. My only thought I might have done it is I'm gonna double check this real quick. That Thief's Town was one of the 5-6 crystals, and I don't remember. I might have had the hint at that point that Pyramid Fairy had a unique item. So I was a little bit focused on working with that. Also, I guess with Death Mountain, my thought about not going Death Mountain is, well, yeah, I can get all the Light and Dark World, but I actually wanted the hookshot.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave Hookshot Cave sitting up there, which is hilarious given where Hookshot was. There was no choice but to leave it behind. But that didn't really work out too well for that routing. But
there's definitely the inverse of my decision making. So yeah, I think either option.
Well, it was a great race, considering all dungeons and you two finishing within, about 5 minutes of each other? 5.5 minutes? That's pretty good for an all dungeon.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy with this time. I mean, there's a few things here or there that could be cleaned up, but I don't think any of this. I don't think I really regret any of the decisions I made. And obviously, it's an all dungeon seed. Anything below 2 hours is going to be a good time.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel terrible about any of the decisions I made. Well, the seed tried to make me feel terrible after I did Skull Woods first. After the Fire Rod, went north to check Graveyard Ledge, and then after getting the hookshot, went to Swamp and read the hint, and it told me arrows were on Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, I wish I would have known that a minute ago.
I did the exact same thing, so I'm right there with you.
That was a lot of your hints, to be honest.
Yeah, like, did you know that the lamp was behind a bomb?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Turtle Rock Hand, for that one too. It was.
If you go mode at Ice Palace, then you probably missed the cane.
Yeah, I didn't read any of the hints in Ice Palace, so.
The first hint was Kane is behind Hammer.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, which on the surface is actually a really rude hint, because it was behind Hammer, but it was deep behind Hammer in the flooded chest. So that's like, oh man, this could literally mean.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's about time to wrap this up. Thank you both for a great race. Thanks to Raspberry Floof and Sandris316 for tracking for us. And thank you, Unknown Availability, for commentating with me. It's been a blast.
Absolutely, it's always a blast, and I really appreciate commentating with you as well. I will do this. So yeah, with that, there's plenty of other matches going on. We've got, SG one. Well, main channel is actually doing the SNES Superstars, which is a marathon that's happening for a few more days now, as well as we've got a lot more matches for the tournament happening on 2 through, I believe, up to 6. So keep your eyes peeled for that. There's a full schedule posted, as well as if you're willing to volunteer for speed gaming, there's also volunteer roles out there. If you're down to do tracking and commentary and things like that, always looking for help out there. There's always room. It's a very fun thing to do. Speed gaming is a very welcoming community, as well as the Link to the Past community is very welcoming. So definitely come on out. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And I also want to give my thanks to both you, Cfalcon and jmeasher, for being our entertainment today. Give these two a follow. They definitely deserve it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for doing the commentary and speed game, for putting on this race. Much appreciated as always.
Yeah. Thanks as always, guys.
So yeah, with that, my name's been Unknown Avail.
And I've been Dark Shadows 59. If you want to see some more Link to the Past randomizer racing tonight, Speed Gaming 3 has a race that is just over an hour in progress. Other than that, have a good night and see you tomorrow.